Good morning. Today's first reading is of the story of King David, of his deception and corruption, and how people of great power can sink into the depths of sin when they abuse that power. King David sends his best soldier, Uriah, into the fronts of a great battle, hoping he will be killed, and he is. All because of King David's lust for Uriah's wife, Bathsheba. King David then marries Bathsheba and has a son who both fall ill due to the sins of David. In other words, the effects of David's sin that he thought was in secret remain for a long time, like ripples in a pond, affecting all the people around him. King David realizes the effects of his sin and how it is destroying his wife and child. And his sin is no longer secret. And in a way, he is forced to face his sins. So he fasts and asks for God, begs God for his forgiveness. And the good news is that the mercy of God and the power of faith in that mercy also creates ripples in the pond of our world that can't be taken back. A blessing, a good act, a fast also has a life or a ripple that goes on and on. And in the gospel reading, the disciples on the boat see Jesus bring calm and peace, and they are transformed. We can be reminded that Jesus' saving action in our lives has an impact that goes on and on, like those ripples in the pond as well. Sometimes we think that our actions, our personal actions, have little or no impact on the world or the people around us. But today's readings urge us to be more conscious of being a person who creates less ripples of sin and hurt, affecting negatively all the people around us, and more ripples of peace, grace, joy through our faith, through our good actions, and our faith in the power and mercy of Jesus. So let's listen to these readings. The first reading comes from 2 Samuel 12, 1 through 7a and 10 through 17. The Lord sent Nathan to David, and when he came to him, Nathan said, "Judge this case for me." In a certain town there were two men, one rich and the other poor. The rich man had flocks and herds in great numbers, but the poor man had nothing at all except one little ewe lamb that he had bought. He nourished her, and she grew up with him and his children. She shared the little food he had and drank from his cup and slept in his bosom. She was like a daughter to him. Now the rich man received a visitor, but he would not take from his own flocks and herds to prepare a meal for the wayfarer who had come to him. Instead, he took the poor man's ewe lamb and made a meal of it for his visitor. David grew very angry with that man and said to him, "As the Lord lives, the man who has done this merits death. He shall restore the ewe lamb fourfold because he has done this and has had no pity." Then Nathan said to David, "You are the man. Thus says the Lord God of Israel, the sword shall never depart from your house, because you have despised me and have taken the wife of Uriah to be your wife. Thus says the Lord, I will bring evil upon you out of your own house. I will take your wives while you live to see it, and I will give them to your neighbor. He shall lie with your wives in broad daylight. You have done this deed in secret, but I will bring it about in the presence of all Israel, and with the sun looking down." Then David said to Nathan, "I have sinned against the Lord." Nathan answered David, "The Lord, on his part, has forgiven your sin. You shall not die. But once you have utterly spurned the Lord by this deed, the child born to you must surely die." Then Nathan returned to his house. The Lord struck the child that the wife of Uriah had borne to David, and it became desperately ill. David besought God for the child. He kept a fast, returning for the night to lie on the ground clothed in sackcloth. The elders of his house stood beside him, urging him to rise from the ground, but he would not, nor would he take food with them. And that is the word of the Lord. Our gospel today comes from Mark 4:35 through 41. On that day, as evening drew on, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let us cross to the other side." Leaving the crowd, they took Jesus with them in a boat, just as he was, and other boats were with him. A violent squall came up, and waves were breaking over the boat, so that it was already filling up. Jesus was in the stern, asleep on a cushion. They woke him and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" He woke up, rebuked the wind, and said to the sea, "Quiet, be still." The wind ceased, and there was a great calm. Then he asked them, "Why are you terrified? Do you not yet have faith?" They were filled with great awe and said to one another, "Who is this whom even wind and sea obey?" And that is the gospel of the Lord. Brothers and sisters, our Bible promise today comes from Psalm 100, verse 5. "For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations." Keep your eyes on the kingdom and have a great day, everybody. Hi, Mom. Hi, Joanne.